Hey everyone, welcome to Content with Stefan. I'm Stefan, and today we're going to be talking about content syndication, which is a topic that I personally really like. I hope you do as well, and without further ado, let's dive right in. So the reason that I really like content syndication as a concept is that it's basically other people growing your audience for you. You get to leverage their audience to drive traffic to your content, to your website, and potentially even conversions. You know, syndication is not known to be a massive conversion driver, but it can be a really big brand driver and traffic driver, which can be really helpful for your content for other purposes. I've learned there are 5 key strategies to get content syndication up and going and growing. And the best part about content syndication is that these 5 strategies continue all the way through. So once you develop them, all you have to do is strengthen them. And if you can only start with 1 or 2 strategies because of your resources, then you can always move to the next ones. And when you have all 5, just focus on hammering it forward. So the first strategy is to go rather broad and rather general and look at any publication that is relevant to your industry, relevant to the types of things that you're talking about, the content you produce, and see if they have syndication or contributor platforms. You know, major publications like Forbes and Thrive Global and even BuzzFeed have contributor platforms where you can put content out, whether that is net new content or content that you've written before that's kind of syndicated in that way. But they also sometimes have syndication relationships directly, where you plug in a feed or offer them another way to get access to all of your content, and they pick which ones they want to do. A really popular example of that is Business to Community, to the number, community, and they get over 1 million hits a month according to SimilarWeb. They're a pretty big site, and they have syndication relationships. Now, a couple things to note if you're going to go this route and enact this strategy. The major publications like Forbes usually will have fairly strict requirements about who they accept as a contributor or syndication partner. They obviously have a big brand to protect, and they want to keep it at a certain level. Just be aware of that as you're looking through their websites. But if you can't find something on their website about contributor platform, I also recommend just Googling, publication name, contributor, or publication name, syndication, because these pages might be buried where they don't really advertise them, but they want to have the programs available for those in the know-how, particularly a PR agency. The other side of the spectrum is the smaller niche blogs, where you can easily contribute your own content, contribute net new content, get those backlinks, and they might be a lot easier to get into and be accepted for. If you are looking for a syndication and contributor opportunity, I do run another publication called Pulse Blueprint, which is about career changes, starting a business, getting a promotion, anything around those key professional changes in your life and times of change. So I'll put a link in the description, but you're welcome to apply to become a contributor on Pulse Blueprint, where you can share net new content and get backlinks and traffic, or even syndicate some of your other content. We accept both types of content. So link in the description, check that out if you're looking for your first opportunity for this strategy of leveraging other people's platforms. The second strategy is building your own relationships. It's surprising what you can get done when you know somebody and you can just say, hey, is this opportunity available to me? If you are at a company or you have a PR agency yourself for your company, if you're an entrepreneur, let them know that this is a goal of yours. Let them know that syndication is a goal, because their whole job is to develop relationships with media. And if they only think that you want interviews, they may not bring you syndication opportunities. So make sure that's explicit. If you don't have a PR agency or you can't afford one, then the way to think about this is to go where the media is. It's almost like a sales process. Good journalists and media outlets are always looking for fresh new content, and they're even willing to syndicate if the content is really relevant or high value. If you're building relationships in your industry or perhaps in adjacent industries and you're looking for that kind of opportunity, it's a matter of positioning it as a method of value. You're producing really high quality content that is relevant for their industry. You'd be willing to give it to them either for free or on a profit share level and see what happens. But if the traditional route of just apply for a contributor license with a major publication isn't working, you'd be surprised what can happen if you start to cultivate relationships. Those doors might be open to you. The next strategy that you can use to leverage syndication as a way to increase your organic reach is through content swaps. So these are basically you publish a piece of their content, they publish a piece of your content, and it's even stronger if you're creating two net new pieces of content together and then you publish on each other's platform. For example, if you have a blog about community building and you have a blog about sales, you could interview each other. And on the sales blog, it's a conversation about how community building affects sales. And then on the community building blog, it's an interview about how community builders can sell more. And so they're very similar topics, but they're just different enough that they're worth two unique conversation pieces, two unique pieces of content. And then you syndicate each other's content. So the sales blog will republish the community building blog with a link back and vice versa. This can be a really easy way for you to get started because you're immediately offering value to the other person as well. So instead of going to a larger media outlet and saying, please distribute my content, this strategy is really about the business-to-business relationships, adjacent platforms, maybe not direct competitors, but there might even be an opportunity to work with direct competitors if you're bridging your companies in different ways or some other reasons. So don't be afraid of looking to give that value first, get yourself a piece of content, and have a syndication opportunity going both ways. The next strategy for syndication here is derivative content, aka guest posting. So let's say that you can't republish a big piece of research. Maybe that's proprietary to you, and frankly, you don't want to republish it. You don't want another platform getting the credit for the work that you did. What you can do is create derivative blog posts based on it. So let's say that, again, we're going to use that sales blog example, and you wrote the ultimate guide to selling technology, and it's this really big, meaty piece of content. You've already created different blog posts for your blog, maybe videos, maybe audio, whatever it is. Then you can take that one step further and go to other companies and maybe tailor it to them. So if you write about all technology sales, maybe go to an edtech company and offer to write a blog about, edtech sales for them as a guest post, linking back into your content. Because remember, a key definition of syndication is getting other people's networks to help your traffic. That doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a copy of your exact content, although that is obviously the lowest effort form of syndication. But if you're having trouble with that and it's not really sticking for you and your content and your brand, then you might like the guest posting route or this derivative content, meaning content that is based out of all of this content. Which, by the way, is a really fantastic way to get different content ideas, which I talk about in another video that I'll link in the screen here for you to check out if you'd like to. The final strategy for syndication that I want to bring up today is self-syndication. Use your brand, your company's brands, the different tools and platforms that you have access to repost your own content. So if you do happen to get one of those contributor spots on a platform, use it, absolutely. But you can also think about just straight owned content for yourself. Things like your personal blog, your company's blog, your company's LinkedIn, your personal LinkedIn, because you can publish articles on LinkedIn, your Medium account, any other places where you can self-publish if you have a newsletter. You can take either excerpts of the content or even the whole content and use a self-syndication strategy, because chances are with these different platforms you're going to have a slightly different audience. Take advantage of that opportunity, because chances are you have a bit of a Venn diagram across all of the platforms that you personally own or have access to, and they're not as overlapping as you think. And even if they are, most platforms these days have some form of discover function where it can actually go wild on the platform itself. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you liked this video. This is Lord Arthur Cuddlesworth. He just woke up from a nap, so he's not very happy right now. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. It would be amazing to have you in the community. And if you have any questions about content syndication, leave them in the comments. I'd be happy to do another video answering any further questions. Thanks again for watching, and have a great rest of your day.